You're listening to the Service Business Marketing Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping your service-based business grow and thrive using the latest technology in internet marketing. And now, here's the host of our show and the CEO of Grow Inc., Matt Law.
All right, and welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of our lead generation series. In our last episode, I was sharing some crazy, bold thoughts, and we're talking about lead generation, but I'm telling you, hey, you got to get out there on video. You got to have a heart for your customers. You got to have good reviews. You got to have your sales stuff in order. In our last episode, we got into some technical stuff. I shared with you about Google local service ads. I shared with you about Google ads and how some clients are getting a 10x return on ad spend. We talked about meta ads and a lot about your landing pages and why if your website sucks or you have bad reviews, it's going to hurt your lead generation campaign. I also told you if you don't have any strong unique selling points or USPs, you're not going to generate as many leads as you could. Your conversion rate will also be higher. If you generate leads, but you don't know what you're going to say in your sales presentation or what your techs are going to do, how they sell, how they approach that when they're going out on service calls, you are going to have a lower conversion rate. You're selling a higher ticket item. You don't have a leave behind. You don't have a guarantee or warranty. All of those things you are going to struggle. But I want to not focus on the negative. I want to focus on the positive, right? Let's change this paradigm a little bit. And let's say this, you have all of your ads set up the right way. And it's not really hard, right? You got your search ads, you get rid of your the negative keywords, tight radius, you do all of that. Your meta ads, right? And with LSA, by the way, you should always answer the phone, right? When the phone rings, someone should answer it, right? Like that's super duper important with local service ads. You always answer your phone, right? And you can talk to that person and meet with them and all of that. And let's say that the person who answers the phone is happy and nice. We've actually had some clients who aren't very nice to people when they answer the phone. And it's like, hey, no wonder, I've actually listened to calls where a business owner answered the phone and was rude. And within 2 minutes, they got a negative review that fast, right? So it matters, right? A whole lot. But let's say you answer your phone, you're positive, right? Your ads are set up the right way. Your meta ads, you got some videos on there, some images, you're remarketing, you're staying in front of them. You have this landing page that talks about how you are the best and why you're different. It's a video. You've got great reviews. You show people why they should work with you. You're passionate about your business. Again, the reviews are great and you've got, 4.8, 4.9, 5.0 reviews. Like you're the best in the city, right? And then you invest in ads. So this is beautiful, right? You're a prepared business owner, right? You've got everything set up the right way. You've got the landing pages and your website set up the right way. Maybe you spend your first $2,500 a month and you launch and you're excited, right? And you are a good salesperson. Maybe you're out selling, right? And you've got these folders and this professional appearance and everything that we suggest for our clients, and you understand people and how to communicate. You're not high pressure sales, and you've got the things that I've talked about in the last episode and this episode. You got everything going right. Well, even with all of that done correctly, right, your launch could still struggle, all right, or not get the right return on ad spend to continue because you are missing other components. And let me explain this. Maybe you are just a couple of people in your company and you need leads, so you spend on ads, right? And so you're like, SEO takes too long. Maybe you don't do Angie because you want exclusive leads, and so you set up LSA or you set up Google Ads. And so right away, you see leads come in and you answer your phone. Again, example of a smaller company. You're like, great, this is awesome. You book an appointment, which is good news. Maybe they go to your landing page and they book an appointment directly, which is great news. But what about when you're out on the job and the phone rings again, right? And you're like, okay, I'm doing the work or I'm talking to a customer. You can't answer it. What about when your person in your office who's answering the phone is on a phone call and a new call comes in? So you don't know when the calls are coming in. You just are spending money on LSA, on Google Ads, and somebody calls and it goes to voicemail. Or what about when you are, you are at the middle of the night, let's say it's 11 o'clock, someone clicked on a Google ad, they go to your website and they fill out a form and, they want information. Well, maybe you're out of town, or maybe you got a job scheduled early in the morning and you can't call them back right away. Well, this is why, even with amazing ads, right, and all the right setup that I talked to you about, and the right landing pages and the right heartbeat of a business owner, this is why you'll still struggle if you do not have marketing automation in place. So marketing automation is one of our principles for growth. And now with the AI assistants, it's even more powerful. So again, you can listen to episode 1 in the podcast, the very first episode. It will explain everything to you, but you can also go back and listen to those first 12 episodes, and we talk about CRMs and automation. But here's the point. You need a follow-up system in place. So I want to talk to you about what's available and what we use for our clients. And so most of our clients have their own CRMs, right? You probably have, maybe you're using ServiceTitan, or you're using Jobber, or you're using HouseCall Pro or JobTread. There's a ton of these out there. Okay, well, that's fine. Usually there's something that you use for production, right? To get the work done, maybe your estimates as well. But we drive all of our leads, Angie's leads, Thumbtack leads, Meta leads, form fills, everything into our CRM, so that we have the contact source, we know where it came from, and this is how we can figure out some reports for how much revenue we generated on that client. So what's involved in our CRM or our lead generation campaign? So first of all, a phone system. Number one rule is that you should answer your phone whenever you can. And I will just tell you, we've tested this. Like we've got clients that set up all AI phone systems, and people are like, human, agent. And then next thing you know, they're cussing. And then next thing you know, they've hung up. So people hate AI. I was in a meeting this morning with Ian on our team, and we're talking about AI, and he's like, man, I just had this deal where I had to send a package and there was a mix up, and I called FedEx, and the AI was actually condescending and rude to me. That's what he said. And he could not get a human on the phone. He needed help. And so, yeah, maybe they're saving a few bucks. But when people call, if you can answer your phone, I mean, it's a big deal, right? It's a big deal. Depends on your industry, I understand, because you get a lot of solicitors. But on the marketing lines, if you're offering people to call in the home service business, for them to call, you should answer your phone. Now, for us, we don't answer our phone, right? The only people calling me are Google, right? And people trying to sell us something. If someone wants to work with us, they fill the application. So we don't answer our phones unless it's a scheduled appointment. But you're a service business and you are looking to get estimates and quotes and get out there and help people, you need to answer your phone, especially with local service ads. And I will say people hate AI only option. So here's what I suggest. Always answer the phone when you can. Book appointments by phone. Share what you do and connect on a relationship level, right? But if you can't answer the phone, you should have a backup system that your phone can provide. And this is what we do, right? Because people, sometimes they just want to leave you a message, which is easy for them. They don't want to talk to some AI agent. They can press 1 to leave a message, press 2 to speak with our virtual assistant and schedule an appointment. That's the AI. And press 3 to receive a text message with a link to schedule an appointment. So here's what we do. Ring, ring, ring. Business owner can't pick up. After 4, it says, hey, and during open hours, it would say, hey, we're on the other line, but I have 3 options to help serve you. It says something like this. If you want to leave a quick message, please press 1. To speak to our virtual assistant to schedule an appointment now, please press 2. And when they press 2, it's transferred over to the AI agent who can gather their address, gather their information, and it will schedule an appointment on the calendar based on the rules of that calendar, and then the appointment is booked. Or press 3 to receive a text message with a link to schedule. So they do that, they press 3, they get a text, it texts them right away, and then there's a link to book an appointment on the calendar. Most people do not want the AI option only, okay? So if you don't answer and then you send it right to AI, you're going to make them upset. So part of the CRM we use as a phone system. Now, every time someone calls in, if they're calling from Google, it will say, hey, this call came from Google, this call came from Meta, this is an LSA call through some automations. All of this is measured, so we're measuring it. They can also text into the system. And so on our landing pages, people can text, and then the AI will respond and try to book them into appointments. So it's trained on a knowledge base of a company, and then it would put all of that together and send them information and try to book them through text. It also works through Facebook Business Messenger, so it can connect through that, and through Instagram. So when somebody is messaging you through those channels, guess what? It can serve them through the AI with a goal of booking an appointment or servicing them. So the phone system is great. You got to be able to have, try to answer your phone, right? But that works really, really great to give them the 3 options. Then you also have the texting option, which also measures all of the marketing. Wherever they came from, they'll text a certain number, so we can measure everything. So the AI can do all of that for you, but really, you got to think about this. We're in the DoorDash world. They're on the website. They see a real person. They want to connect with you, right? Or they've been watching your ads for a bit, and now they go to your site. You answer the phone. That's great, but if you can't, you're still serving them well. We're in the DoorDash days where people want to instantly book, right? And they want to get that off their plate. And if you make it easy for them, whether, hey, I'll call you back, or my sales guy will call you back and get you on the schedule, that's not a big win. So AI can do that. So we'll talk about appointments. So we integrate in our CRM a calendar system which can sync with Google and Microsoft. There's some other plugins as well that we use that are available that can integrate with other CRMs for scheduling. But a lot of times your landing page, right, you should have the calendar on that for them to schedule an appointment, schedule an in-home meeting, right? Especially if it's for sales, like you're going to come out and give them an estimate and look at their project. Now they can fill out a form so you can learn more about it, right? And you can cancel if it's not a good project, like, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't a good one. All right. There's a lot of ways that this can be done, but like with the calendars, what's awesome when they book is like you can actually do confirmation text and emails sent to the customer instantly. So imagine it could be 11 o'clock at night and somebody's like, man, I need to get somebody out here. They fill out the form and it's scheduled on your calendar. You wake up the next morning, you've got things scheduled, you quickly review, you go to the ones you can, the other one, maybe they're out of the area or maybe it's out of scope, and say, hey, I appreciate you scheduling, but we're not going to be able to show up today. This actually isn't a project type we could do. Most of the time, if it's a very specific offer on your ads and all of that, you're going to get the right clients and the right customers, and they're going to tell you about their budget and all of that. But they're going to get a confirmation sent instantly. You could also delay it where you review it before you confirm it. There's a lot of ways that this can be done. So now appointments are automated so that people can schedule. It's easy for you to book them when they call as well, but you want to have that option for when you are not. Again, you're spending money on ads and leads, and you cannot afford to miss these because you're not working during those times. So another thing that you're going to get is people filling out forms, and on your website, people are going to land on your website, your landing pages, right? They're going to fill out a form and they're requesting a quote. So how do you get those people to schedule an appointment, right? So sometimes people fill out a form on Meta, which is a really low quality lead, right? And how do you get them to engage, right? How do you get them to schedule that appointment or take the next step? Well, that's through marketing automation. So whenever we generate a lead for a client, we create a nurture sequence to get them to go to the next step. So it creates an opportunity in our pipeline, which basically is like new lead, right? And these are people that have requested information. Well, you could call them and we say, hey, it's good to call them, but we build a automation sequence that sends emails, text, and even voicemail drops from our business owners saying, hey, I saw you left this, requested a quote. I just sent you a text. If you'd like to schedule, let's get you on the calendar. You want to follow up with them for a good season until they book an appointment, right? And that's really key. So the secret is in leads, wherever channel they're coming to you at, which is the customer's preference, right? You want to communicate with them. If you can't, you want to have AI and you want to think through the scenarios like, all right, they're visiting my site at night, they could book, right? They filled out a form, they just got an instant text with a link to book, right? I can't answer the phone. The AI can send them a link to text or a text link to book, or it could book an appointment through that. They just message me on Messenger. They're on my Facebook page, right? That can book an appointment. So now you got all of your channels covered. So when you're spending money on marketing, when you're spending cash on lead generation, nothing can fall through the cracks. And this is what you have to understand about lead generation. You try it for a month, you're like, it doesn't work, I quit. If you generate a ton of leads, and it depends on your industry that you're in, but if you generate a ton of leads and you continue to nurture them, you may only close one lead or one big deal in month one. Let's say it pays for itself. Well, you should just be thankful, right? This is working. Month number 2, all those people in your system, some of them are going to come to maturity and go down the A to Z buying spectrum. Month 2, you may get a couple deals that close because one from this month and one from last month. Now you're making money. So month number 3 and 4, you could really be doing well because you're generating a lot of leads and they're all getting nurtured. They're getting to know you. They're getting remarketing. And all of a sudden on month 3, you close 3 or 4 deals because all of those leads you generated each month came to fruition. Now it depends on the ticket of your item. But usually when you're doing paid ads and all of that type of marketing, you are selling a higher ticket item or a longer service contract or something with a client. So all of this is the formula for growth from the phone system to the calendar to the AI automation. All of that connects together. So with our clients, we again use our CRM, right? And it's a way that we can measure everything. And all of our clients get access, and then we push leads to their CRM if they have API. And again, you could use this to automate LSA leads, Angie, Thumbtack, and a bunch more. As long as there's API, application program interface, most big companies have that. Your CRM probably does. We can move things in and out really, really easy. But this is how we can really figure out the return on ad spend. So now I want to recap before we talk about the last channel, or the last topic, which is measuring the marketing and figuring out the return on ad spend. So you got your ads dialed in the right way, right? And you add negative keywords, you make sure your location's on point, you've got a very organized campaign, and you're spending on it, and it's generating leads at a reasonable rate. Now you're like, Matt, what should my cost per lead be? It's impossible for me to tell you your cost per lead because it's different in every area, every category, every industry. It's going to be a little bit different. It depends on the type of lead you're generating. It also depends on the advertising channel you're using. That's why you got to measure it, right? So I've seen some industries like lawyers that are like personal injury. It could be $600-$700 a call, I've heard, which is crazy, right? That's a ton of money, right? Some of the higher ticket items that you may be selling, it is, so like we see like roofers, their cost per lead is a lot higher on LSA. Your meta leads are going to be less, but they're lower quality. So you got to get a lot more of those. And so you've got all of these different channels that you're going to measure, and your cost per lead will figure that out. But really, it's not the cost per lead, it's the return on ad spend. So your ads are set up the right way. They're going to a landing page, right? And the landing page is authentic. It's you. It's all about the customer, and you've got good reviews. you're ready for the sales process. You're ready to go meet customers, and you got your folder in hand, your professional appearance, you got all of this stuff, and you're ready to go. And then when the leads come in, you try to answer every single one in person, if you can, the calls. And if you can't, the AI is doing the backup job. Now, in our CRM, there's a toggle button, right, where you can just say AI off. And when you do that, then it will turn off the AI. So if you start having a conversation and the AI is talking to them and you want to take over, you can do that as well. But the goal is to have the AI on for until they are booked on the calendar. And usually once that happens, then we turn off the AI, so the AI will not answer anymore. That would be the human touch. But you got calls coming in from Facebook. All of that is coming in, Google, LSA, maybe Angie, and some of your other channels that you have. Nextdoor, they're going to a page that it's sharing the heart of the business owner and what you do, which gives you the highest conversion rate. Your ads on Meta for remarketing is you or your team telling them how you're different, how you're better, and you've got strong, unique selling points. And all of a sudden you turn on the ads, the leads come in, and there is appointments coming in, there are leads coming in, there are calls coming in. Some, let me just say, some are going to be pure trash, right? Some are going to be total time wasters. Some are going to just be terrible leads. You're going to get leads on Meta and you're going to send one text and they're going to say, stop, right? You are going to get people that fill out spam just to spam you. I will say you're going to get people to reach out to you that want to sell you something. They're going to click on your ad and try to get you to buy something and spend your money to do that. So yes, there's going to be garbage leads in there. And I also believe that there are bots out in some of these marketing channels that are filling out forms. There are spammers. There are competitors that will click on your ads and fill out stuff and just waste your time. I've seen this in LSA. I've seen this in a lot of channels. And so this is why at the end of the day, you're going to get some good leads and some bad leads. And what you can't look at, that one day. You can't even look at the week. You can't even look at the month. What you have to look at is how much did I spend and how much revenue did I generate? So the last part of a good lead generation campaign is you have to be able to measure your marketing, right? You have to be able to measure your return on ad spend. And so when you're doing a lead generation campaign, when we set up ours, every type of lead that comes in, we have to be able to measure it. So if they text, call, Metaform, whatever it is, we'll have the UTM source in there. And it creates an opportunity. And then if the business owner closes the opportunity at the end of whatever that buying cycle is, they will move it over to opportunity closed, right? This one is a one project. And what it does, it creates a custom, like a form, really, it's like an automated form fill that says book jobs. And when they get this book job, all they have to do is go in, and it takes 2 seconds, and they click the job, and then they select the profit and the revenue. And so they click those two things, they hit save, and then it will generate a report that shows the return on ad spend. And I'll give you an example. So then I can go in and I can look at the end of the month and I can say, okay, we closed 2 jobs, right? Or we closed 3. Depends on your industry. Maybe it's 10, right? It depends on what you're spending on marketing. But we can go in and we can see, all right, you spent this much. This was this is our return, all right? And you will quickly see your what's working and what's not. So then you don't worry about, you don't worry so much about a bad lead or a wasted call. You look at the numbers, and the numbers dictate and they tell you what you should do. So a couple of weeks ago, we got an email from a client that wanted to turn off LSA. He's answering the phone, and it was a bad lead, and he's like, these are all bad leads. But we went into his CRM, and Jeff's like, well, you got this much revenue from them. I would recommend you keep it on. you will make emotional decisions on leads and what's working and what's not if you do not measure your return on ad spend. And so the secret is you got to set up measurable marketing in the first place. You got to give it a couple months, 2 or 3 months to work on a channel to see if it's going to work. And then you figure out the return on ad spend. You also got to have a budget for ads, and if you think you're going to spend $500 a month and at work, maybe not, maybe an LSA, a really small budget, but it's not like that, friends. Unfortunately, advertising costs are just very, very, very expensive. And so I've given you the formula, but if I were you, I would not start, and you are trying to grow your company, I would not start with just a pure lead generation campaign. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to break that down, because what you see on Meta ads and what you see on, just these gurus is that, hey, I'll give you this many leads, and they reach you. So if they reach you, you think, hey, they can reach my customers as well. And so if I were you, I most likely would not buy just a pure lead generation campaign. And here's why. The companies that set these up, so I just explained to you our setup and what we did for our test campaign. And it's going to work. Those people are going to, most of it's going to work. They're going to stay in contract and work with us probably for a long time. But what I'll tell you is most companies don't offer what I just shared, right? Again, we had a client that didn't hire us for their Meta. It was a newer client. It was part of their package that we were going to do. We had a lot of stuff ready to go, but they're like, hey, we want to spend more money and we want to work with this company that does fence leads. And so we had access to their Meta account. We saw the ads. They set up 5 AI image ads. They did lead forms and they would book appointments for them. $3,800 setup. I think it was $1,600 a month for multiple months. Lots of sales calls, lots of time wasted. They never generated a single dollar from that lead. Now, I'm not even talking about their ad spend. This is how much they paid the agency to do that. And Jeff and I looked at each other, and they did not have measurable marketing. The only thing they got was, here's a lead on Slack. There was a Slack message. They did not have any automation, any texting, any AI, any CRM, any follow-up. This is all what we built into that. Didn't have any landing pages for Google Ads because it didn't have Google Ads or LSA. And I was like, golly, what a waste of that company's money. They're our clients. So now we're going to take it over and we're going to do that as well. But also when I go on to look at ads in Meta, there's so much noise. And you probably see your company's ads all over, say not your company, but like ads for your industry all over the place. You probably see you're bombarded with it. There's so much noise just on Meta. And so if I were you, I would not suggest doing a Meta lead campaign purely. Number one, the return on ad spend is better for some of the other channels in Google. And I think the other thing is you're going to have all of your eggs in one basket. And that said, I'm a proponent for Meta ads. I want you to use it, but it should be measured with multiple channels. And so I tried to give you the formula, all right? And now I want to unpack what we see and why we are shifting our thoughts on Meta and lead gen campaigns. And so we build out this amazing exclusive lead gen system, and it's something that our growth clients have already been doing, and it's working. It'll probably work for our lead gen campaigns, our magnetic lead packages as well. But we're like, first of all, it took a ton of work for us to set these up on a setup. So our setup took a lot longer. When I went through all the stuff that we give, I was like, man, this is too much work for us for not enough money. We spent a ton of time training everybody. and investing in them and making sure they had good videos and helping them coach their videos. It was almost as much work as it was for a growth client. So first of all, we were like, hey, it's too much work. And we know that work is required for them to win. So we were willing to try it for, a few clients to test. So it was the numbers did not work for us to do it that way. The other thing that we really thought through is that some business owners are coming to us just for leads, and they don't realize there's so much else wrong with their business. Like they don't have any unique selling points. They don't have any, they have no collateral. They have bad reviews. So then we were getting business owners that just want leads that are really bad business owners. And the other thing we got some leads from people that wanted to sign up, and the companies were just too immature. And what I mean by too immature is they were like, $100,000 in revenues. And they think, hey, they're just going to drop this money in and they're going to just explode with really, based on what I told you, they're going to need 2-3 months of work, on these ads to make sure they can figure out their return on ad spend. Of course, they don't want to hear that. And so we were talking about the clients that we have that are crushing and winning and getting some clients getting well over 100 leads a month through multiple channels. And I said, these business owners don't need a lead generation campaign. They need to do the right things and the first most important things. And so we decided that we will still offer lead generation and the formula I just gave you, because we already do it for our regular clients. I said, but we're going to put these into our Kickstarter package and our growth package. It does not make sense to give somebody this when there's so many other things wrong with their business. And so we decided that our Kickstarter package would include magnetic leads or a lead gen. They always have anyway, but it allows us to get that client set up the right way. So imagine a lead generation campaign, but it also gives you a really great website, right? It gives you local SEO on Google Maps. It also gives you, all of your unique selling points, your folders, all right, some coaching on to make sure your sales processes are in place. And so we thought about it, and I'm like, okay, the growth package is not that much more than a lead generation package, but it would allow that client to get more growth and become more healthy. And they don't have to spend $2,000 or $3,000 a month in ads. They can start off spending a lot less. They can spend, $500 in ads, or they can spend $1,000 in ads because there's local SEO, there's email, there's social media, there's all of these other things that we're doing that will generate revenues so that they don't have to spend as much money on ads. And when a company's really small, just doing, a couple 100,000 in revenue, I mean, they got a lot to get in order, right? And so what we decided was we're not going to offer just lead generation exclusively. And our lesson from that was that the business owner actually needs work on his business, and there's things that are important that he's missing in the lead generation campaign. So in the end, we decided, hey, a growth package or a Kickstarter package, which are our entry-level packages to get things healthy, will allow them to grow. The other thing we realized is that, and this is business owner to business owner, and you'll probably relate to this, is that we don't want every customer. And if you go out to a job and you're trying to generate a bunch of leads and you're like, I don't want this customer, right? This customer's driving me crazy. They're beating us up on price. They're rude. They're not like, life is too short, right? To take on bad projects. And what our opening was with our lead gen, we were getting customers that want to work with us that we would normally not take on because they have bad reviews, or they just want leads, and they don't understand growth is more than just, having the leads. Is having a process, having a system, having good unique selling points, willing to be on video. And so their expectations were out of line. All right. And so hopefully this training did a couple things. First of all, hopefully it helps you not waste money on some meta lead campaign, because I seriously doubt many will work if you don't have the right systems and tools in place. You may do okay with it if you're great at sales and things like that, but you've got to have a process in place. And I try to lay out what we see working and what we believe works. And so hopefully it will help you save that. Hopefully it helped you understand a realistic growth timeline and how it works, like the A to Z buying spectrum. You're generating leads, you're closing them, you got follow up. And as you move forward each month, the revenue continues to grow and do better. So hopefully it gives you a better clarity on that. But I also hope it helps you understand that growth is more than just leads. And this 2 episodes are all about lead generation and that formula that I shared with you. But the biggest part I see that is a difference maker is how the business owner approaches their day-to-day business and the realistic expectations on, let me become a little more healthy today. Let me become a little bit better today. And as I become a little bit more healthy and a little better and do things the right way, then I'm going to see growth. And so one of the things that we learn from this and one of the things we've been just talking about is that why do some of our clients, why is that one client up 100% and the other guy has the same marketing and why is he up, 30%? Or why is this guy flat, right? And the same marketing and definitely more exposure. Like sometimes there's acquisitions in these companies and that we're working with, and there's different variables of why they're growing in their areas and things. But a lot of clients that are seeing growth, and here's what I'm going to tell you. And the clients that are seeing the most growth with the same marketing, the difference maker is not the marketing, it's the behavior and the actions and the beliefs of the business owner. And we're a marketing podcast. I get that. But Grow Inc., we're turning more into a growth company instead of just a marketing agency. Because I see companies that do all of the same things for lead generation, but they flounder on themselves because they don't realize a lot of the problems is how they manage their time, what their values are, how they're managing their team because they have turnover. Like we've had clients that have turnover. And when you have a lot of turnover because you treat your people bad, you're in trouble, right? You're always going to struggle. When you don't value your staff, right? When you don't have a sales process in place, when you don't measure your marketing like we shared, when you are out of balance, right? When I see our clients that are growing the most, they're doing lead generation, but internally there are things that they are doing. There's principles that they are living by that are causing them to see great success. So one good thing I will share with you is that over the next few months, we are going to be sharing a lot about marketing, but we're also going to be talking about growth and about healthy growth and what healthy businesses are doing to see growth. And I think it's going to be incredibly valuable for you as we move forward. As we close out, I want to remind you just a couple of things. First of all, we have just launched our new school community for service business owners. You can go to grow.inc, that is our domain name, and you'll see a link to join our school right there at the top of the page. We also have some amazing resources on our website. I would encourage you to check out our book, the Marketing Blueprint, and it will walk you through the exact things you need to do for your marketing to grow. If you go back and you listen to the first 12 episodes of this podcast, I really walk you through the formula of growth that we've seen with clients. And on this journey, we're going to continue sharing, some helpful and informative information about growth. And I am going to be pulling in some of our clients that I really respect, asking them to share their journey and giving us some tips and some feedback. Jeff and I are going to come on here quite a bit, and we're going to share with you some marketing tips and growth. And so we really are planning to ramp up our podcast. So I hope that you find it helpful. Hopefully that you'll subscribe to it. And it would be super helpful if you also left us a great review if you got some information and support and just help out of this. So it would help us too. That said, I want to thank you for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day. And if you're interested in getting started with a growth package with us, you can also apply to work with us on our website at www.grow.inc. You'll see the application right at the top of the website. And would love to talk to you and spend some time and just encourage your business and tell you what it would cost to build an awesome lead generation campaign like we've talked about over the last couple of days. That's my only pitch, but I did put a lot of work into this. So thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today. We hope you found today's episode helpful and informative. For more information about Grow Inc. and to request our free marketing blueprint ebook and other resources, please visit www.grow.inc. That's GRO.inc. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Built it all from nothing. Late nights, inbox buzzing. Every call, every quote, but the numbers never float. You're spinning plates and praying. Bills stack, phones keep ringing. You're asking what's this for, if I'm stuck on the same old floor. Grow with Grow Inc. Make the hard stuff simple. Turn the uphill scramble to a clear straight line. Grow with Grow Inc. Watch the fog start thinning. You've been working so long, now it's finally your time. It's your time. Tried the guru systems, big talk, missing vision. Promised gold got gravel. As the months unraveled, we mapped the path that fits you. Real leads, real value.